Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. This is a new series that I'm starting before the summer recess. They're short, 30 minutes-ish. How to do something. So we're drilling down specifically on a task, and these will vary: day, time, evening, morning. But they're 30 minutes. They're quick, short tasks. So you want to learn how to do something or refresh your knowledge or something like that. Okay, so today we are going to look at Classic, and we're going to look at your catalog settings. So I'm in my training catalog. It's a new catalog. Let's just hide this, which I think is that. So I'm on a Mac. On a PC, I think it will be under File if you're PC, and we come down to Catalog Settings, and this pop-up will appear. So we're just going to go through this menu and what this menu does. Shout out if you've got a question, if you want me to go back through anything or whatever. So under the General button, we've got the location. That is the location of your catalog, where this file, this catalog file, is stored, along with its associated files. So if I press show, you'll see the folder, and here we go. This is all the files. Let's change it to my way that I normally see it. So we've got the help files, the preview files, the sync files, the catalog file itself, smart previews, and so on. So if you ever need to find your catalog for some reason, you want to move it or something like that to a different directory or folder, this is where you find the location. The catalog that you're currently working in, the name is always at the top. If you also wish to find it, it's the next line down. And then when you created the catalog, when you first launched this catalog, is under the next. So it's all quite straightforward. Last time backed up, last time optimized. I'll talk about that in a little while. And then we've got the size of your catalog. Okay, so how many megabytes that catalog is. Now, when we get into the backups, this is where you change the frequency of your backup of your catalog. So I'll show you where that is again. So we'll go Lightroom Classic on a Mac. It's under File under the PC, goes Catalog Settings, and down the bottom under the General tag, this is where you can set the frequency of the backup of your catalog file, and you want to save that backup to a third party, an external drive, or put it in a folder that's in the cloud, because you don't want to store the backup on the same drive that the catalog is in, because you've lost, if that drive fails, you've lost the backup and the actual working catalog, unless it's in the cloud. So you can set this drop down to never backup, once a month, once a week, once a day, every time you leave, or the next time you leave. If you choose the next time you leave, it will back up your catalog and then revert back to once a week in this case. And that's what I suggest for most people. Once a week is when you back up your catalog. Okay. So if I change this to next time I exit, when I exit this in a second, it'll ask me to back up, and then it'll go back to, or reset it back to, once a week. Okay. Any questions about that?
No.
Yeah, it's quite straightforward, I think. I hope. Yeah. Okay. So this is your preview. Sorry?
Yeah, where do you find the drive to which you're backing up?
Okay, I'll show you that when we go through the backup, okay? You can select that in the backup bit, and I'll show you that.
Okay.
So when we looked at, when I showed you this quick show here, we've got previews, this preview file here, okay, which is currently 691 megabytes. And that's the previews. What previews are what you see on the screen. So if I just make these bigger, unless this is in the develop module, every other module you're seeing a preview. you are not seeing the raw file. Okay? It's only when you press D and go to the develop module, you see the raw file with the edits applied to it, as in the catalog. So let's go back to catalog settings. Now, the important thing is this is the preview. Okay, is the size of screen in conjunction with the size of your hard drive and your processor. So I have, I think in my Mac Mini, I have a 2 terabyte drive. So I only keep my applications on my drive. So it's relatively free of my clutter. All of my clutter goes on external drives. I have a big 5K monitor, 30-inch BenQ monitor, 32, 38, whatever it is, BenQ monitor. So I have got the RAM and I've got the processor and the storage to generate large previews. Okay, so I've got a 5K monitor, so it's 5K. But if you're on a laptop and you go to your applications, system applications, and go to display, it'll tell you the size of your monitor, okay, in your settings. So mine's 32-inch, and it'll tell you how many pixels. And this is where you want to set the maximum pixels, because you're then controlling the size of the previews. Right? And if you think about it, this is 5,000 pixels wide. If I go to 2,000 pixels wide, that's roughly 1/3 the size. Well, if each one is 3 megabytes at 5,000 pixels across, so the size, the length is 5,000 pixels. If I'm chopping that down to 1/3 and it's, let's say 6 megabytes, it's now down to 2 megabytes. And if I've got 50,000 images, that's creating a lot of taking up a lot of disk, or reasonable amounts of disk space, but also processing on RAM. Okay, so my point being is, do you need that size of preview? Okay, because all the preview is when this is my preview. So, and I'm just rendering through my preview. Okay, so that's all my preview is. Okay, all right, so do I need that size of preview for your computer, your screen? Okay, and that's something you will have to investigate, but it's under catalog settings, file handling, under preview. Okay, then you have the quality. So the DPI, medium is normal. Okay, now if you wish, you can generate what they call one-to-one previews. I'll show you how to do that quickly. I've got this image here selected, and I'm going to go library, preview, build a one-to-one preview. And I'm just going to build the selected one, and it's already got it. So it builds whatever the size of the raw file is, so many megapixels, it builds the preview the same size. Okay, so if you've got a slowish computer, you can build the previews so when you do this, they're nice and quick, like they are here. They're not rendering. Okay, now the reason why I'm telling you that is this setting here automatically discard one-to-one previews. You can set when you want to delete the one-to-one previews. Okay, so the full size, if you want to say JPEG preview. Okay, the reason why you want to delete them is you only need that preview for when you're working on the project, when you're culling them, when you're editing them, and so on. And when you just put them into storage on a drive, you don't need that preview anymore. And you can build that preview again if you want to go back to it. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So I have them for a week. Okay, that's what in my commercial catalog. This is my training catalog. I have them in my commercial catalog. I have it for a week. Okay, and I build them on import. So every time I import them, and I will show you how to do that very, very quickly, I build them on import. So when it's changed the file name, when I go pick and reject, all those type of things, all the metadata is added and so on, I cull them. They're literally boom, 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 boom. I can just go through them like that. But after a week, it deletes the one-to-one previews, and I have my standard preview, which is this preview here. This one here at the top. Okay. So that's that. Sequencing numbers, that's literally what it says it is. If you want to sequence numbers, that's normally on file renaming. You can set the number they start at, etc. there. Metadata. Okay. So this is the top box is about suggestions. So keyword suggestions and other things like places and so on. You start typing and it comes up with a suggestion. If you've got an old computer, I would turn it off. If you've got a relatively new computer, and my definition of a new computer is less than 3 years old. Okay. If it's older than 3 years old, I'll turn that off because it's another thing your processor and RAM is doing. And you can, this button here, click clear suggestion list. Okay, so you can it's like clearing your history in a browser. The next tick box down, include develop settings in metadata in a JPEG and TIFF. So you can now burn into the header of an image, the metadata of a JPEG, TIFF, PNG, and PSD, or you can write them, which is the next one down, as a sidecar XMP file. So depending on the file format and depending on your workflow, so I use Classic and Lightroom. I have them both ticked because anything that I do in Lightroom Classic is either burnt into the file, but it's non-destructive, or it gets written as a sidecar file, and then it's preserved in Classic. So it's Lightroom and Lightroom Classic. So whatever I do in Lightroom, I can see in Classic. Whatever I do in Classic, I can see in Lightroom. So it's like a duplicate. Okay? And that's by ticking these two boxes on. Now, something that I referred to the other Monday was looking up your address from your GPS coordinates. So on an image, if you've got GPS coordinates, so we take this image here, go to the side, so I'll look under metadata, change that to EXIF. I've got the GPS data here. It will look up the GPS. So I go back to catalog settings. It will look up by ticking this box here. It will look up, and if I go to IPTC data, you can see it's now got Porlock Weir, Minehead, England. So from the GPS data, by having this box ticked on, it has added that information there because I have the GPS data. And that's automatic. If you use a phone, it'll populate the address into here. Okay. Export a suggested address when there is, so when you haven't typed anything in here, do you want it to export the suggested address? I would say yes, because there is an overriding in the export module. Next box down is automatically detect faces. The first time you turn on your face detection, which is up here, it'll ask you to go through a routine like here, start finding faces in your catalog, and there we go, it's starting to find them. And I put a name with them and so on. These are some stock images that I have a license for, and also some of my legacy files. So it's scanning my catalog for faces. So that's how you can kick this off, automatically detect. So now when you import an image, it will look for the face and it will give you the opportunities. The last box down is write date and time changes into the raw file. So I don't know if you know, under, where is it? I think it's under photo. It's one of those things you do very, very occasionally, and you can never remember where it is. You can change the date and time. It's probably not coming up because I'm not in the right module. There is a date and time changer. Where is it, Mark? There it is. Okay, so edit capture time. So you can change your capture time. So if you're using a camera that hasn't got GPS and you fly across America, for example, and the reason why I say America, there's 4, I think, time zones, and you forget to change your time zone, well, you can type in the time zone or the date and time, etc. And you can do it to a block of images and you can change the time zone here. And this is where you change the time zone of the image, okay? But this setting that I'm going to show you, this one here, will actually write it into the raw file permanently rather than in the catalog. So the menu I just showed you was writing in the catalog. It still preserves the original capture date and time as the camera saw it. But if you want it to write it to that file, you tick this box here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. So that's your catalog settings. The last thing that we're going to look at is optimizing your catalog and backing it up. So optimizing, we have a little box here, optimize your catalog. And what that does, I'll actually do it because it shouldn't take long on this one. It will optimize, there we go, it's done it. What it does, it looks at the catalog, makes everything in a straight line, everything's all nice and it's like a spreadsheet, if you want to say. Everything's all the columns are nice and straight, all the data's right, everything looks right and everything run right. And it optimizes it. And literally, that is all you have to do. And you'll find the first time you do it, it might take absolute ages, depending on the amount of photographs you got. But if you go File, Optimize, it'll optimize your catalog for you. Okay. All right. So that's like clearing your history or clearing your RAM out. There's these RAM cleaners and CC Cleaner and things like that, which is an app that clears out all your temporary files and so on. Exactly the same thing. And there are some plugins. There's a cache plugin that you can clean your cache out and so on. And the last thing we're going to look at is backing up our catalog. So you remember I went to catalog settings, to general, and I'm going to go next time I exit Lightroom. So I'm going to press X and now I'm going to close Lightroom and it's going to give me a pop-up. Here we go, back up your catalog. So this is again where you can change. It's once a week in this case. And Stuart, you asked me for the location. And this is the location. You can hit choose and you can go and choose a file. So let's move this. So there we go. So I'm going to put in there backups LRC, and there's all my backups for my main catalog. So I'm now going to create a new folder, LRC training. Okay, so I'm now going to put that in the wrong place. Let's move that. Put in the training. Going to go in there and I'm going to select, this is on an external drive, it's on a 1 terabyte external drive. I'm going to choose, and that's now the location that it's going to put the backup in. It's an external drive. Okay, now if it's an external drive and it's not connected to your computer when you exit, it will go back with the default Lightroom backup folder which will be the same place as where your catalogue is stored. Okay, and it will stay there until you change it again. Okay, so you might find that if you've got an external drive or USB drive or something like that, and you've taken it out and you've gone to exit it, it can't find that drive, so it defaults back to where the catalogue is. Okay. And then the last two is test integrity and optimize your catalogue. So if you get into a habit of doing this once a week, it will check your catalogue is okay, and it'll optimize it and hit back up. And there we go, we're done. Now for me, that takes, in my main catalogue, that takes me about a quarter of an hour to do that, to do my backup. Bearing in mind, I've got over 400,000 images in my catalogue. So it goes down every line, every column and so on in the catalogue, make sure it's all correct, there's no errors in it, it optimizes it, and it backs it up. Okay? So the first time, it may take a little while to do it. But I back up my catalogue every day. But I'm in Lightroom every day. Yeah? If you're not in Lightroom Classic every day, once a week is more than fine. The question you have to ask yourself is, if my catalogue crashed, or if I spilt coffee over my computer and I had to replace the hard drive, how far back do I want to go to recover, or how the edits and the metadata, how much work are you going to lose? Well, for me, it's every day. You know, sometimes if I've done a lot of work, I will force it to back up. So I might back up 3 times in a day. So let's say I spend 2 or 3 hours in the morning, I'll back it up and I'll close it and go off, take the dog for a walk or whatever, come back. Let's say I do another 2 hours of Lightroom work. I will back it up again because I don't want to do that 2 hours work again. Sorry?
Just to confirm, they're full backups and not incremental backups, aren't they?
They're full backups, that's correct.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're full backups. So, and what they are is only the catalogue, because it's saving all the locations and the edits, all the history and all the metadata. It does not save the image, and it does not save the previews, or the one-to-one previews, the smart previews, because you don't need to, because you've got the original, you can rebuild the previews.
Mark,
yeah.
Mark, I noticed you've got a lot of backups on your computer. Do you really need to keep all those?
No, you don't. No, I only go in. I go in once a month and I delete. I leave about 4, 5, 6 on there. It's laziness.
Right.
Okay, so I just go in once a month and I just delete a whole block of them, because that drive is my backup database drive. So my websites, my WordPress data, all that type of thing is all on that one drive. I just go, and my servers and all that type of thing, all the backups are kept on that one drive. I just go in once a month and I clear it all out. Mm-hmm. So it's a time thing. You know, I could sit there and go, well, I could do it today, and that's another 20 minutes I've wasted just clearing my backups. It takes me 20 minutes to do it. I do it once a week. It doesn't matter whether it's I delete 10 backups or 20 backups. You know, it's a one action to do it.
Okay.
But I would keep, 3 or 4. You know, they're not that big realistically. You know, I think mine are about 200 gig each, something like that, because it's a compressed zip file. So I'd keep 3 or 4 or something like that. But I just keep I just go click, shift click, and I go, oh, there's about that much left at the bottom, and I just delete what's above it. So that answers your question.
Evening.
Okay.
Mark.
Evening.
A couple of points. I don't usually shut down my Lightroom. I usually leave it, and so it hasn't been backed up since February.
Okay.
Is it a bad idea to leave it up all the time?
I'm just thinking about your electricity bill.
Well, it's on my MacBook. But,
Okay. I would, because you optimize your backup. So you optimize your catalog and so on. So, you know, my philosophy is to show you the things, how they do them, and for you to make the decision. I don't tell you what to do. That's my training style. My opinion would be I would shut Classic down once a day at least, so it optimized it and you backed up your catalog depending on how much you use it.
So I tried shutting it down just now, and it come up with 55 photos are still syncing with Lightroom. Do you want to shut down anyway?
Okay.
Why would it be still syncing with Lightroom? So, I haven't done much in the last few days.
Okay, so it could be a backup error, a sync error. So the classic example is if you are using your mobile phone or another device and you're syncing from Lightroom to Classic, you turn your device goes to sleep and it hasn't yet fully uploaded the file. So Classic is sitting there going, give me, but you haven't uploaded it yet to the cloud. So that's possibly what's happening. I will do next week for you. I will work out a date and time. I will do a half-hour one of these shorts all about syncing and all the little problems. I won't go through everything because I could sit here for 2 weeks go through syncing, but all the little problems and nuances and so on and how to get around them. So I'll do a 30-minute next week on syncing. Okay?
Thanks. Right,
yeah, no problem. But as a quick one, if you hit the cloud and click on the cog, and then it's down at the bottom. Hang on, I'll give you the right words. Click the cloud, click the cog. You hold. You're on a Mac, are you?
Yes.
Hold the Option key down, and you see it'll say Rebuilt Sync Data. So have you got the preferences up in front of you? Okay, so top right hand corner, click on the cloud, click on the cog, hit the Option key, got Rebuilt Sync Data, click on there and just go through the process. And what it will do is it will clear your cache of your database in Classic and attempt to resync. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Right, has anybody got any questions about what we've gone through tonight? The catalog settings? No? Okay. So I've got another one of these coming up on Saturday morning, all about collections. How people don't realize how powerful they can be. Okay, and how you can use them. So it's 30 minutes all about collections. And I'll do a couple next week as well, on top of what I do on a Monday night, which is a 2-hour support group. Okay. So this recording will be on YouTube tomorrow, on my Lightroom Mark YouTube, so you can have a look at it if you so wish and refer back to it. Okay?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Lovely to see you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mark.